But if you already know, how can I make a choice?
Because you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it.
Welcome to the Church of the Agnostic. I am Uncle James, and I am your very own agnostic messenger / teacher. And today we are this is the second in the series of the meaning of life, or the second part to the series. So buckle up. We're going to get to some information for you, and let's get into it. All right. So let's imagine, if you will, that God, before you were born here on earth, God asked you to come to live a human life with Him and all its darkness and obstacles that each life, pain points and obstacles that life offer you. And in return, you will see me and experience me like never before. Or you'll be able to see God and experience God like never before. And in my estimation, each and every one of you jumped at the chance to do so. So what happened then when you decided, at the point you decided that you want to be reincarnated here on earth, or incarnated or born here on earth? Well, so what happens in life is very interesting. It's almost like you're going to the video store or the video game store, and you're going to select a video game to play. So you take one and you look at its challenges, its obstacles, all the painful experiences that it comes with, its challenges and hardships and stuff like that. And each of those pain points, each of the obstacles that are in your life have to be healed, which is the goal of each one of those lives. Now, imagine if that one video game that you can take multiple video games and put them all together, so thereby increasing its difficulty. So you can imagine experiences where, life where you have one issue that you have to take care of, but now this time there may be multiple issues you decide that, hey, I'm all for it, I'm good, I'm strong, I can deal with it, let's bring on the pain, let's bring it on, and that way we can heal it. We can heal these pains and stuff like that. So the choices are laid before you, before you're even deciding to be born here on this earth. And some of you might have said that some of you might ask, how are we going to heal these things? How are we going to heal these challenges? Well, we're going to get into that. You might have asked that question, and God would probably have answered, if as you probably already knew anyway, as well as He did. But God is going to answer, okay, I will help you. And not only is He going to help you, but He's going to bring other beings like yourself to participate in this experience with you. We call these people that come in with you your soul tribe. Your soul tribe members come with you as they could be your mothers, your fathers, siblings, good friends, and mentors you meet along the way, even spiritual guides like angels that come and help you through the course of your life. Now, these agreements with each other, this is what this is. It's like a soul contract. It's what we call it, a soul contract. It's not really a contract in that you're legally bound or anything like that, and that's not what's going on here. This is a mutual agreement that you have with these other beings, like your mothers or fathers or your members of your soul tribe, to have this experience together for the purpose of dredging out these lessons so that you can learn and overcome these lessons. These hardships are the real ones. You'll know the ones that you really, this is like your life's purpose to overcome this, because they're going to be the hardship, the things that really stick around and really hurt, and they stick with you for a very long time. These are the type of hurts that take a long time to get over. And those are the things that you need to heal in this lifetime in order to overcome it. Because when you heal it on here on earth, it is also then healed in heaven. And what does that mean? What does that do for anybody? Well, the things and the challenges that you overcome are going to be also overcome for anybody else who wants to come along and learn from your life experience, so that they don't have to live it. They can live it if they want. Someone could, as soon as you're done with this life and you've gone back to heaven, someone could come right along after you and live the exact same life to experience what it is that you experienced, if they want. That certainly is possible. There might be other versions of you living out there, and that's probably what the purpose is for. I ask myself sometimes, what is the purpose of having all multiple dimensions and alternate realities and alternate universes and the whole Mandela effect and all that stuff? It's probably because there are other universes just like yours where people are living the exact same life. Beings are living the exact same lives for the same purposes that you are. So when you heal something on earth, you heal it in heaven at the same time. And this is where part of the meaning of life comes into. This is where we're kind of already fulfilling half of what's going on here. You're getting to about half the battle here. In other words, we can live many lifetimes as we want, many realities, learn lessons from contrast. Contrast is in darkness. Darkness is this life. It's not really darkness as in it's hell or anything, or literal darkness. It's we're in these human bodies, and we are shielded from the love and light of God. Imagine if you will, you're a little teeny tiny being, about this big, very small, teeny tiny, you can barely see it, very teeny tiny, and your pineal gland is the box, in other words, or control room, in other words, that you exist in the body when you're born. So from here is where the rest of your body is connected to, and is connected to this point in the head. Really teeny tiny. So this is how we live in this body, and here we are in life, and we are allowed to make choices. You have freedom of choice. You can do anything you want in this life. What's clear in all the choices and freedom that we have, that the things that trouble you most are the things that your life's purpose is to overcome. So that's kind of a simple rule of thumb to figure, okay, what is my purpose? Well, that's part of it. And in this overcoming these things, you're reflecting God to himself, and God is reflecting himself onto you. And it doesn't matter what religion you are, what path you choose, although those could be central to your purpose in life. It could very well be that your life's purpose is to be a Christian and live in that religion from beginning to death, from day one to the end of life, and that's all well and good, and that's very possible. There's nothing wrong with that. God is all that exists, and all that there ever will be. Therefore, there can be no false God that exists, because nothing exists outside of God. So you can ask, well, is that all there is? Is that we're just here to suffer? No. And that's the beauty of life. We're also here to live contrast, so that means that not only are we here to live the darkness, but we're also here to live the good things in life. And when I mean the good things, I mean the good things. They're there for you. And we'll get into those things here in a bit. So God knows everything. God is everywhere. God is all powerful. There's no separation in this that's going on in this life. But let's take a step back in creation and kind of take a look of how we all got here, how God got here, in other words, and how we all participated in the act of creation. Since the first primordial proteins came together to make the first protein chains of life, we were all participating in its creation and its inception. In heaven, God knows everything. He's made all the choices from beginning to end. He's created all life in all stages, in all realities and all existences, from beginning to end. So we are here to participate with him, to then live with him in all those points of creation, from the beginning of the first signs of life here on earth, where the first protein bonds came together to make the first single-celled form lives, and we teach the single-celled forms of life to begin learning how to live life as a single-cell organism. Later, more complex, God creates more complex organisms that we live and then teach to grow and understand itself. So here we look at life in all its versions, the first fish in the sea, and we learn how to fish, how to survive as fish and swim, and then we crawled onto land. The whole idea of creationism versus evolution, it's kind of all the same thing, and that doesn't mean that neither one of them are exclusive to each other. It means that, with the evidence that we have on today, is that, hey, there's some evidence to suggest that, certain parts of life, certain basic life began, and the fish and then the sea then began, and then at certain points these things began. The first life of the land animals, the plants and things like that began at certain points. And that's the only thing that we can really say, because we have evidence. We have carbon dating. There's just really no link, not very many I should say, to really suggest that there's a link to suggest that we all evolved from the same damn thing. Not necessarily. And I could be wrong. The whole idea about science is about looking for the evidence, continually looking for the evidence, and continually looking for truth. If you're going to be here in the Church of Agnostic, and if you're going to be agnostic, it is best to understand that you're going to be wrong from time to time. I'm going to be wrong from time to time. It's if I'm ready to accept that being wrong means that I have learned something new rather than a failure, that's where, bringing those experiences becomes value. So just because we don't know a thing right now doesn't mean that we won't know that thing later on, once science and discovery have learned more. So anyways, I digress. So here we are. We have experienced life as fish and the first land mammals, the first mammals on Earth, the dinosaurs. We lived as dinosaurs. Does that lend any credence to the Eastern philosophies of reincarnation, where we reincarnate as a cow or as a horse or something like that? And in a way, it's possible. If there are lessons to learn that a particular being is needing to experience, yeah, that is definitely possible. So, fast forward to today, nowadays, and we're here to reincarnate as human beings, because there are some experiences that we need as human beings. So, this is what happened. All the choices that you're going to make in this life, you've already made them, right? And this is the second tenet, one of the central tenets of Agnosticism 101 here in the Church of Agnostic. You've already made all the choices you're going to make. You're just here now to learn to understand those choices in life, right? So your destiny is laid all out before you. All the challenges you're gonna face, you've already made those choices to undergo those things. And if you really think about it, that can be very empowering to know that that thing that you're going through, whatever it may be, is something that you've given yourself as a gift to learn and overcome and to heal, as we said. And we'll get more into the healing process and all that. So what we did, though, is that, as I said, life 3D is sort of a veil. It's sort of hidden from God's light and love, and it's by design and by purpose, so that we can have the experience of being less than who we are, which is God beings that are eternal, and understand life as temporary beings here on Earth. It's very dense. It's 3D. 3D life is very dense. It's very dark. It's painful, and from all of the accounts that I've read and studied, when people have re-endured the point of incarnation, where you're in a being in heaven, and then all of a sudden you squeeze into being a baby, that it's painful. So when we're born, in the body, you can sense pain, pressure, temperature, many of the things that the 3D world then throws at you. Your life, the other thing that happens is that, you're shielded from the idea of eternity into a linear existence. And what I mean by linear is just a fancy word for saying an existence that is measured by time. You have a past, you have your present, and you have your future, from beginning to end. You once started out of your mama's womb, and you're going to die one day. And that is the idea of this linear existence in this life, that is temporary. It is subject to time and space. Now, who you are is the same as your eternal being. You're the exact same person. But imagine you're as existence, your eternity, your eternal being is a big lump of dough. And you take that big lump of dough and you spread it across the counter. You put some flour on it, spread it across the flour, you keep spreading it, keep kneading it, and into a big old circle. And it becomes pizza dough. And that's kind of what your being is here on this earth. Is you're spread out. You're basically spread out thinly enough to where you're the same being. It's just reality, that what you see experiences in a small sliver. It's sort of a beam of light. It's a small sliver experiencing just the current that is your here and now. That is your present. So imagine, if you will, that you are you meet a fourth dimensional being of some sort, whether it's an alien, an angel, Jesus Christ, or whatever the case may be. In terms, a fourth dimensional being is a being that lives outside of the constraints of time and space, meaning they see all time and space existing as one thing, as one entity. That there is no time, that doesn't exist to them. So you as a being are all your past, present, and future together as one, and that's what a fourth dimensional being will see, is everything that you are from beginning to end as one thing. Any emotional, spiritual wounds that you're holding on to are then reflected back at you, because those things, if you're holding on to those things, they are part of you, even though they may be in the past. They exist like they're existing right now, and those things are going to be reflected back at you. And that's something very interesting to notice, when encountering beings of fourth dimension that's outside of the constraints of time and space. You are your past, you are your present, you are your future. Let's look to nature to kind of kind of take a step back. I know that was all quantum physicsy and stuff like that, and sometimes it can break people's heads. So I get it. If you're having a headache, I understand. I apologize. Let's bring it to something a little bit more simple. Let's look to nature. Like I said, you'll hear me all the time. Let's look to nature as a guide. If you look at an apple before light hits it, you will not know what color an apple is until you shine white light onto it. Well, what's happening when you shine light onto an apple? Well, the apple, imagine the apple is your being. You're receiving all this light. And the apple says to itself, okay, I got blue light. I can handle the blue light. Nothing wrong with that. I'm good to go. It takes in green light. Great. I got green light. I'm good. Not a problem. I can deal with the green light. Next, yellow light comes in, says, oh, not a problem. I can deal with the yellow light. This is easy. I like this. All right. But watch out. White light also comes with red light. And he says, oh, hell no. I can't deal with the red light. And it says, this is too much pain for me. I cannot deal with the red light. And it's that emotional pain that comes out that is then beamed out of us. It's reflected out of us. And this is what we see as a red apple. An apple that cannot hold onto red light will not absorb it. And this is how you know once light hits it, you know it's a red light. It's a red apple. Similarly, our emotional states, especially the big ones, the big time ones that really frustrate us, are the ones that really define who we are. And that, like I said, to the rest of existence, it's not in a linear, bound by 3D space, sees everything that you are and all the things that you're holding on to. Now, I go into this because, as I said, that one of your purposes here in life is to heal and turn those things into something different. And here's the beauty of it. This is something really magical. You're probably going to find this. Have you ever heard the idea of flipping your script? If you're a certain person and everyone knows who you are, they know that, let's say Joe Blows is not going to make anything of himself. He's just a fuck up. He's not going to become anything else. Right? But if I told this secret, and I'm talking about the secret as in, the one that we've heard on TV and stuff like that, but I'm talking about we learn the secret of life, that where we become anything that we want to be. Thoughts become things. And when we think of ourselves as someone other than what anybody else paints us to be, we then begin to change who we are. It's a little bit more involved than that, but the experience is something that we can all do. And so you ask the question, well, how do we heal these things? How do we change these things in our lives so we're not those things that have defined us? You take what is truly bothering you and is truly an issue for you, and you take ownership of it. Right? This requires you to have brutal self-honesty of who you are, and enough self-honesty to say, I'm the one that created this issue, and now I take ownership of it. It is now part of me. You see? So when you take something as bad as emotional trauma, and these things can be hard, believe me, I know these things can be hard, believe me, I do. And sometimes it's hard to relive these things that are so traumatic. But when you bring them up into your heart and into your mind's eye, and you say, this is no longer my problem, therefore that's when you can start to make it different and you turn it into something else. We are co-creators. And as co-creators with God, we have the power to change, because we're limitless beings. We are eternal. not bound by space and time in actuality. Therefore, you should be able to go into your past and change whatever happened to you and say, this didn't happen anymore. This is not part of me. To hear no further. You see what's going on here? You're flipping the script of who you are. So here, this process, it does take time. Less so for others, and maybe more so for others. It took me years to learn these things, and to apply them correctly into my life. And my job here for you, church, is to share these things with you that I have learned that can change who we are for the better, so that in turn we can be service to others. And that's going to be the subject of the third part of this series. And the next video is going to be how can we be service to others. God is everywhere. There's nothing that exists outside of God. God is in all things. There can be nothing false within God. And we are here as co-creators, as observers, co-observers with God, to heal and to overcome obstacles in order to be service to others, but also to enjoy life and enjoy the good things that life has to offer. So we'll get into that as we get into the next video, but wanted to get an idea in this video of who we are. And if you really think of yourself as a God being, not, oh, I am God and everyone needs to worship me. No, you're not. No, that's ego. You simply are an eternal being. You're here on earth living a temporary human experience, right? So your purpose is your own, of your own creation, and know that should give you already to begin to start empowering you to say, hey, this is all mine. This life is mine. I've allowed this. And I have no one else to blame but myself, and I have no one else to forgive but myself. If somebody else did something to you, it may be their fault, but how you react to it, and if it's brought you a lot of pain in this life, that's not them. That's not their fault. How you react is entirely your decision. Oh, but Uncle James, you don't know what they did. No, it doesn't matter. Take it within you and take ownership of it. And you know what you're doing when you do that? When you take ownership of it, you're taking away their power. And it becomes yours. Now you have the power to say, this is not going to hurt me anymore. I'm done. To hear no further. That's how you start healing yourself. So like I said, I know that that's an involved process. I know that there's a lot of pain that goes deep. I get it, folks. And I'm going to help you in the Church of Agnostic and give you some tools. I'm not going to do it for you. No one can cure you. This is not a hallelujah healing movement. We're going to give you the tools so that you can heal yourself. Right? That's what we're here for, as service to others. So be on the lookout for the third. If not already, it'll come. The link to it will be in the description, but also be at the end of this video so that you can look at it. So, but all in all, so some of you may ask, how can I prove any of this? Agnosticism. I can't prove to anyone else that my belief is correct, and neither can anyone else prove their religion or their belief is correct. We simply believe here in the Church of the Agnostic that all things are correct or they're not correct. Oh, but how do you live? How can you go around living like that? Well, I know it's a pickle, no doubt about it. So it's going to be up to you at the end of the day whether you're going to accept what I have to say or not. I expect every one of you to make up your own damn mind.